What's up, creepers? Before we get into this week's episode, I want to let you guys in on a little promotion that we got going on right now on Patreon. We have recently implemented 1 week free trials on the Patreon $2 tier at patreon.com/truecrimeguys. That's right, 1 week of free content. Listen to your heart's content. And then if you like it, maybe sign up. Or maybe just cancel after you listen to 7 days of our free content. Whatever you want to do, it's fine with us. But we really think you're going to like this little taste. Again, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. There is a link below the description of this very episode. Keep creeping, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your captain speaking. We're just about ready for takeoff now, so,
Shit, everybody move now. Go, go, go. Inside, everybody inside. To the stairs, quickly. Everyone head to the roof. The helicopter's waiting there. Go, go.
No, you're lying. That's what demons do. They lie to cause men of God to doubt.
I'm not telling any lies now, Father. I can feel it in your soul that you know what I say is true.
There's so much blood everywhere. Where be the rest of them? I can't tell. What is doing this, Mr. Simon? That couldn't have been done by no man, I swears it. I don't know.
From the minds of True Crime Guys comes Sandu Stories.
Our brand new channel devoted to our previously Patreon exclusive content, where we'll be bringing you our own version of true crime what-ifs and other audio dramas, one season at a time.
Join us wherever you get your podcast. Now, let's get strange.
I can feel your fear growing and your faith dwindling. It's an intoxicating feeling.
Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm Michael, and if you didn't listen to our announcement video, or episode rather, if you're not on YouTube, that we released last week, Lauren has stepped away from podcasting temporarily. If you guys would like to hear his reasons and what he's planning to do, please go listen to that announcement episode that we released last Wednesday. But for now, and for the foreseeable future, I will be joined by my good friend and co-host, Andy.
Hi!
Andy, say hey to everyone.
I did.
Do it again, because I already had that phrase planned.
Hey!
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, do as told. Do as you're told.
That's right. Do as you're told.
Get a little spray bottles. Go ahead and start getting me like a cat.
Right. Well, if you guys don't know, Andy has been with True Crime Guys Productions for over a year now. He's been writing for Sandu Stories, and we have done, I don't know, probably close to 100 Strange Shorts.
Probably now at this point, yeah. I think I joined Strange Shorts almost around like maybe 45 or 50 or something like that.
Okay, so we're approaching somewhere around
and
there.
we're right up there in the triple digits now, so.
Right. So it wasn't too big of a stretch to plug Andy in here at True Crime, on the True Crime Guys proper, and we're super excited about it. So, like we said, guys, definitely going to miss Lauren, going to miss his presence, going to miss what he brought to the show, and there'll still be a lot of things I do as host that are just like Lauren did. For instance, the way I started this episode. Welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast.
Well, yeah, it's a staple.
I mean, you don't fix if it ain't broken.
Right?
Right?
It's a staple. People expect certain things now.
Exactly. So, Andy, do you want to tell a little bit about yourself? Just let people get to know you a little bit before we get started. Don't take too long. We get bad reviews.
Yeah, I won't banter too long because we got to do bantering later.
Right.
But yeah, guys, I'm Andy. I have been writing with Sandu Stories for a while. I've known Michael since we were both teenagers at this point.
Yeah.
So we've been friends and very close for years now. I've got 2 kids of my own. I work as well outside, but most of my work is done from home, just like Michael. So I have a lot of free time and actual creativity time that I can get to develop and work with towards you.
Perfect. We're going to fill all that up.
You're going to fill me up?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
All I had was a croissant today. Fill me up, Michael.
You're not going to have time to eat once you get going in here.
I don't think I'm going to want to after this. Just gonna get down.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, that's pretty much the spiel. I mean, I used to be a craft brewer for years. I made a bunch of beer around the Charlotte area. But
too bad we're not one of those beer drinking true crime podcasts, because you'd be perfect.
I could have told you all the things. I really don't drink beer anymore, which is always funny to people. I didn't really drink that much when I worked in breweries. But yeah, and so I've had my fill of that industry for a while. I need to rest my body.
I feel you. I think we got enough people nerding out on beer right now.
Yeah, and like I said, it was brutal on my physicality and just the working hours. So yeah, this is a different change of pace for me.
That's right. Sit down, rest your bones, work your brain instead.
Give me first things first. We're gonna get better chairs. We gotta give you a nice chair. Give me a nice like recliner.
What's wrong with this chair? The chair didn't squeak before you sat in it, Andy. That's all I'm saying.
I have a history with chairs.
We're not gonna get into that. But guys, as Andy alluded to, he's been working on Sandu Stories, and we are both very proud to announce that Sandu Stories is now available on the free platform. If you guys haven't heard the advertisements at the beginning of our episodes that we've been putting in the last few weeks, Sandu Stories is now available wherever you get podcasts. The first episode came out last week on February 7th.
February 7th.
That's right. You did a great job in the trailer. And the next episode will come out on the 21st, because these episodes are scheduled every other Tuesday. So bi-weekly, every other Tuesday, you will get a brand new Sandu Stories wherever you listen to podcasts. So guys, we'd really appreciate it right off the bat if you go subscribe, tell your friends, leave a rating, leave a review, whatever you can. We appreciate that very much.
Absolutely, guys. We're looking forward to releasing some of those things. We have a pretty good sized catalog now of Sandu stories that we produced on Patreon. So we've now got our previous episodes that we can slowly start releasing to the public, and keep those new ones coming onto the Patreon episodes. So. That's
right. So if you hear that first episode and you're like, oh my God, I got to hear more, then just go to patreon.com/Sandu podcast and listen to your heart's content. I think there's 23 Sandu stories out right now.
And chapter 23 was the first 2-part episode. So 24 will be the conclusion to that episode.
Right, exactly. Well, all right. Well, that's enough talk about True Crime Guys Productions and all the announcements and shit going on here. Let's get into the case at hand this week, all right? Lauren and Matthew Phelps. No relation to Michael Phelps.
Nope, but I've said Michael Phelps like 40 times.
It is so easy to do. I can't tell you how many times during Google searches I'm like, how is nothing coming up? Oh, I typed in Michael Phelps again.
I heard a YouTube video actually say Michael twice in their video and didn't edit it out.
It's going to be so hard not to do. Hopefully I don't do that, but I put Matt in the timeline a lot to help me.
Yeah, because that works.
Doesn't sound anything like Michael Phelps when you say that. But this all started back in 2017 when newlyweds Lauren Hugelmaier and Matthew Phelps were living in Raleigh, North Carolina, our home state here, Andy.
Not too far away.
That's right, about 3 hours or so. Their future looked bright and their life looked perfect. Well, on the surface, at least. Underneath it, it was ripe with money problems, frequent arguments, and eventually violence. Until one morning, Matthew wakes up to find his wife covered in blood on the floor and the bloody knife in the bed beside him.
Seems that was
Doesn't look good.
Waiting to be found.
Yeah, indeed. Doesn't look good. Looks like someone broke in and killed his wife while he just laid there and slept through it.
You would think so. That's why that's why the husband's always supposed to sleep on the side of the bed closest to the door, right?
Yep. That's what happened. So we'll see you guys next week. Nah. Let's roll the intro. We'll get into this.
He takes your call, smile and all, as he talks you off the cliff. After work down the corridor, he walks to his car. He smokes a spliff. Watching his co-workers as they go, just your typical American psycho.
I had a dream, and then I turn on the lights and she's dead on the floor. Tell me exactly what happened.
She sips wine out of a flask, thinking of the one that hurt her. She feels naked without her mask, and the father, he deserted her. She's desperate to let go and become an American psycho.
I think I killed my...
An American psycho.
I have blood all over me, and there's a bloody knife on the bed, and I think I did it.
He's been at the same church for years, the same job even longer. No one cares about his ugly tears. He thinks the solitude makes him stronger. His true potential has yet to show. He'll finally be noticed as an American psycho.
I took more medicine than I should have.
He'll finally be noticed.
A lot of times I can't sleep at night.
As an American Psycho.
The blood's not wet on me, the blood is dry.
Stares at the same screen for hours, looking for community and love. Locked away in his tower, trying on his leather gloves. His true face exposed in the computer's glow. The face, he's the face of an American Psycho.
I don't know. I'm too scared to get too close to her. I'm so scared.
The blood makes her feel alive. She hated how she liked it. A primal feeling, the need to survive. He's drinking coffee, she should have spiked it. The tables will turn, forever he'll go when she releases her American Psycho. Belittled, abused nearly every day. He takes his lunch and he sits alone. They take his money and they spit in his face. He's keeping score though, they will atone. Polishes his gun and loads the ammo, just like Daddy taught him. Just like Daddy taught him. He's a little American Psycho.
All right. So like we said, our case this week is Lauren and Matthew Phelps. So since obviously Lauren is the victim here, Matthew is still alive. No more spoilers other than that. But let's start with Lauren. Let's start with her life, and then we'll move our way forward. Okay? All right. So Lauren was born June 9th, 1988. She shares a birthday with Johnny Depp, Natalie Portman, and Michael J. Fox.
That's probably some of the strongest list of A-listers you've had in a row. Like you didn't even have any black sheep in that list.
Nope, no YouTubers, no TikTok stars. Although I had to scroll past quite a few to get to Michael J. Fox, believe it or not.
That's
Johnny
insulting.
Depp, Natalie Portman were top 3 everywhere you look. But Michael J. Fox was on down the list.
That's insulting.
That's quite insulting.
Yeah, we need to go back in time and fix that.
Back to the Future, man. Come on,
man.
Get out of here.
Disrespectful.
But Lauren was born in Los Angeles County, California, and then her family pretty quickly moved to Kentucky. And that is where she met Matthew Phelps for the first time. They were in middle school together. Okay.
Little young romance blossoming.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
No, they didn't really know each other that well in middle school. They were just kind of acquaintances.
Just in the same general school or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just kind of like, I know about you.
Oh yeah, that's Matt.
Yeah, they didn't have much contact after middle school either. And we're really not certain that they were even close then. So, like I said.
Yeah.
But Lauren went on to graduate from Swain County High School and later attended Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina.
That was my backup choice.
That was right. You went to Eastern, right?
I went to East Carolina.
And I went to Western. We went to opposite sides of the state.
Yeah, it's like the Bloods and the Crips. We were just at war all the time.
Right. Not really.
During our college years.
Ironically, Appalachian State is the rival of Western Carolina University, but not really. App State just destroys them in pretty much all athletics.
There can only be one king of the mountain.
That's right. And Boone is a really cool place. If you're visiting North Carolina and you like the hippie lifestyle, the outdoors, the hipster style, yeah, Boone, Asheville, it's a cool place to be.
Yeah, and if you have a Subaru, they will just give you a parking pass.
They will. You can park for free anywhere with a Subaru.
They do not care. Even the tow trucks are Subarus.
Oh, yeah, well, you got to have all-wheel drive there. I mean, not only do we get quite a bit of snow up there, but it's very mountainous.
It is. I love it.
There are no flat areas.
I love it.
So then one day out of nowhere, okay, so Lauren has graduated college, and out of nowhere, this person on Instagram rather, likes all of her photos. Guess who that person is?
Regis Philbin.
No.
Well,
close. It's Matthew.
Oh, my next guess was James Franco. That would have been more accurate.
Okay. But he liked every one of her photos on Instagram.
Okay.
Is that not a red flag? A little bit?
Sounds romantic to me.
He
Let's keep
sounds
going.
like he's really into her. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it didn't take long for him to slide into her DMs, and he wanted to connect.
Yeah, that's a power move. Just go through like every photo.
Everything, even the super old ones.
Power move.
Years
Or if you
old?
just go back and like the oldest ones,
Yeah.
that's the powerist move because you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, you just looked good back then. That's when I like those pictures.
Oh,
You haven't looked good since then.
Well, obviously he thinks she did look good because he wants to reconnect.
Oh yeah, he was trying to lay some groundwork, man.
Yeah, yeah. And so one thing led to another, and they started texting and eventually started calling on the phone. You know how it goes.
Oh,
it's getting
late
real
nights.
serious.
They're talking now.
Yeah, I mean, they're in like their late 20s.
Yeah,
we're
that's
acting
the
like they're
talking
kids.
phrase. I don't know.
But
I always hated that term.
right, I know, right?
We're talking.
We're talking.
Yeah, I mean, fuck off.
Like, what's the difference in talking and dating, really, in this
fuck
day
off.
and age?
You're courting.
Talking is dating for poor people. You just don't have the money to go out. I mean, hey, I'm not saying that was me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Mate.
yeah, I can't take you out. Let's just talk.
That's why he's such a great conversationalist. That's why he does podcasting now.
That's right.
That was all his dates and
I
his
was so
teens.
poor. I just had to learn to talk to people.
I had to learn to make myself
Hey.
interesting.
But regardless, the relationship really heated up from there. And Matthew, who was still living in Kentucky at the time, moved to North Carolina to be with Lauren. Pretty quickly, in my opinion.
Well, it seems like she probably
Because-
had more going for her than he did.
Oh,
She actually went to college and graduated, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was feeding her a line of shit, which we'll find out here pretty soon. But regardless, they were quickly married in November of 2016. They had a Star Wars themed wedding, Andy. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Complete-
Yeah, I can.
Well, more on that later.
Yeah, I can.
You're saying that like you had a Star Wars themed wedding, Andy.
Continue.
I'm kidding. I was there. I know what you had. But his wedding was complete with lightsabers, and Matt actually dressed up as Anakin and pretended to slaughter everyone in the wedding party.
Oh, that's great. Especially just like the flower girl and the ring bearer.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
All the kids were first. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I made all that shit up. He didn't.
Adults only wedding. That's the way to set your adults only reception. You dress as Anakin to your wedding, you go out to the ceremony, but then when the reception comes out, you just
Yeah.
walk up to all the kids with a fucking saber. Adults only now, motherfuckers.
Like I said.
Welcome to the dark side.
Okay, I didn't make up the lightsabers and the Star Wars thing, but I did make up the Anakin part. I thought that would be fun.
Well, I'm going to continue to believe that in my head.
Yeah, let's push that like it's fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, but in reality, the only thing that sucked about the wedding really was Matt's mom. She appeared to hate Lauren and even wore white to Lauren and Matt's engagement party.
Oh, no, she didn't.
I know, right? That's so offensive.
Bitch move.
Seriously. Like, and obviously they're having a traditional wedding because they're both, devout Christians. So they're
Yeah.
having a very traditional style wedding. It's not a wedding where like you're on the beach and you're wearing sandals and khakis. It's like, no, the bride's wearing white. Like,
Yeah, this is
you don't wear white.
If I read correct, Southern Baptists, which is very big around here in our area, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they were probably gonna have a church wedding. This was the engagement party, which was probably at like a fellowship hall or some kind of
Exactly.
thing like that. Yeah, this wasn't. Oh, we're going down to Longhorns for the engagement. No, this was probably
No.
something a little bit more traditional.
Yeah. She
And
knew what
yeah.
she was doing, man.
Yeah, the mom knew exactly the rules. It's just like you don't wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah.
You don't wear it to the bridal party.
Right. We'll talk more about Matt's mom coming up, okay? But except for Matt's mom, everything else seemed just peachy for the couple. They had some major interests in common, which we mentioned, Star Wars, and also Harry Potter. Who doesn't love these things, though? You know? It's like, you get in a relationship with somebody, it's like, oh, do you love Star Wars and Harry Potter? It's like, I would say 1 in 3 people are going to say yes.
Yeah, if
That's
you're
a
the
lot
person who
of
says
people.
no, you either are like 3 years old and don't know yet.
Right. Right. That's the only explanation.
Yeah, or you're just, I don't know, terrible people.
Right. But aside from these huge fandoms, they also shared a love for Christianity, which we already reiterated. Lauren loved serving in her church, which was Hope Lutheran, and often did whatever she could to be involved in youth groups, and it seemed to be her passion, which lined up quite nicely with Matthew's goals of eventually becoming a pastor. Lauren adored this about him, and she ultimately had dreams of becoming a stay-at-home mom, raising a Christian family. No harm in that there. She also wanted to own a Hallmark store.
It's different to be like, I want to own like a craft store or a greeting store or like some kind of like one of those types of stores.
Right.
But to go specifically, I want to own a Hallmark store. It's like, well, you want to own a franchise? Like you want to just manage a Hallmark store? Is that
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess. I mean, that's
Or
fine.
maybe she just thought like, a store like Hallmark, like you say. Maybe
Yeah, I hope that's what you
greetings,
mean.
Gifts,
Yeah, like if you want to open her own business one day or start,
motivational posters.
Yes.
Beanie Babies. I don't know.
Office decor.
What does Hallmark carry these days?
Scented candles,
Fake flowers? I don't know. But anyways, that's what she wanted to do. That was her aspirations. And their social media accounts reflected two young lovers who had it all. But that was far from the truth. So here's one instance where things were not so great, okay?
All right.
6 months after they were married, the couple traveled back to Kentucky to meet Matt's family. The plan was to have a photo shoot with everyone organized by Matt's mom. So she, Matt's mom, had planned on the men wearing blue and the women wearing white. But Lauren swore up and down that she was told to wear blue.
I read this.
Yeah,
I read this as well.
This is really fucked up. Presumably so she didn't feel like part of the family. According to Lauren's family, this was par for the course in regards to Matt's mom. Apparently, she did a lot of little things like this. This is just one thing that got documented, I guess.
A very passive-aggressive mother-in-law.
Yeah.
The kind of, oh, why didn't you bring a dish?
Right.
You didn't tell me we were bringing dishes. Well,
Right.
you should. Yeah, I've been around those people. So, yeah,
Yep.
she was... I think what I read, she was like, she talked to his mom, and she's like, yes, everyone's wearing blue. So she bought blue outfits for both of them, and then she gets there, and she's like, well, only the men are wearing blue.
So that's how it went down.
You said everyone was wearing blue. Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
just the boys. You're supposed to be wearing white.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was one of those, like, passive-aggressive power
That's messed up.
moves.
So she literally separated her from all the other women in Matt's family. She's
Yeah.
already the only member of her family represented there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's awkward. It really baffles me how Matt's mom felt towards Lauren. Like, she should have been grateful, honestly.
You would think so.
Your son found an amazing person, someone driven, someone focused, someone smart, kind. You know what I mean? Wanted a family, wanted to take care of him. She should be grateful someone wanted to do this.
Someone actually had like motivations in their life that her son could actually get a part of. Because it seemed like, not to spoil too much, but it seemed like Matt didn't have the best like home life. He only had really his mom and like, some stepfathers and stuff. So it's like maybe you get that feeling like his mom didn't want to let him go, like his mom didn't want another woman in his life or something like that. Because it's like I said, I'm not trying to spoil too much, but Matt's father wasn't in the picture. So he was like the man to his mom to an extent.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit more about Matthew, okay? At this time exactly, Matt was struggling with holding down a job. Some he'd abruptly quit, and others he was fired from. But at this time, he was working for a lawn care company, and he was spending more money than he brought home. And I mean a lot more money.
Yeah.
Okay? He was known to spend thousands of dollars at Best Buy on iTunes cards and Xbox subscriptions, forcing Lauren to take extra work. So in addition to her work with a company called Scentsy, you may have...
Oh, yeah, the little wax companies?
Yeah, it's a multi-level marketing type company like Mary Kay and whatnot. She also worked as an auditor for a Fortune 500 company and part-time as a babysitter. Okay, so if he's cutting grass, like even if you're cutting grass 5 days a week, 60 hours, you're not making enough money on a crew, on a landscape, unless you own the company.
Still, I mean, at that point, I don't think you're making still enough money to as much money he was spending. Because two things I did read. I read in the month alone, like during the month of the murder that happened. I think it said he spent $1,200.
Yes, that is correct.
On iTunes and Xbox games and stuff like that. That's $1,200.
The month of the murder.
Yeah, the month of September. And like he's not even working really besides doing this lawn care stuff. She's working 3 jobs as long also doing the Scentsy sale. The second thing is I don't trust those companies because the waxes can be deceiving. My roommate accidentally ate one of the Scentsy wax pieces one time thinking it was fudge.
Wow.
What
happened?
I don't.
He ate the whole thing though.
Well, he just like bit into it, like the
okay.
little cubes.
If you take more than one bite, I'm really worried.
Either way, like he picked it up, bit into it, and then just. Bleh. But then he actually texted me and was like, I ate some of your wax. Why? I thought it was fudge. You could have kept that with yourself.
Oh, you're talking about the candles.
Yeah, I'm like, you could have kept that to your grave. Like, you could have just broken that off and no one would have been the wiser.
No one would know.
No one would know that you ate candle wax.
He was proud of it, though. Apparently.
I don't think he was.
No, he wasn't. He was just, he needed to get it off his chest.
He's like, someone
He's
needs
like, I got to
to
tell somebody. Should I call poison control?
Someone needs to know what I just did, and I can't just live with this.
Right?
But yeah.
Well, regardless, what we're getting at here is that Matt's spending was out of control, okay? And Lauren was at her wit's end, and she had to do something about Matt's spending, so she decided to organize weekly meetups with her parents to help them manage the money and save for their futures. Man, I bet Matt loved that, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Well, I don't think he loved it. They said
Nobody likes talking money with their in-laws, dude. I don't care who you are.
No, they do not. They said he was agreeable to it, but Lauren, like they said,
what choice did he have?
Yeah, Lauren said she didn't really think he was going to really follow through with it. But apparently the meetups were more like, hey, we're going to do a once a week dinner together, and we're going to have dinner, sit down at home, and then we will discuss budget stuff.
Exactly.
So it was like, okay, well, I get a free meal out of it, and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and they're struggling with money, so having a nice home cooked meal is probably nice. I mean,
exactly.
he's spending all their damn money on Xbox subscriptions and shit.
Yeah, he's not sitting there ordering takeout either. So
right. So either way, it eventually spiraled to a point where Lauren was confiding in friends and family about ending her marriage of less than 1 year. Mm-hmm. And Matthew's violent tendencies and other mental issues were starting to show themselves. Well, at least in private. On social media, he was still portrayed as a loving, caring husband, but his troubled past was starting to surface. So let's talk a little bit about that past. I know Andy alluded to it a little bit earlier, but Matt's mother was only 17 when he was born, and Matthew grew up fatherless. He was too much for his young mother and ended up ultimately being raised by his grandparents.
To comment on that, one thing I did kind of look into his mom as well to see if there was any information on her.
Yeah.
And what I found was that his mom was a unwed teenage mother to two also very religious Southern Baptist people.
Okay.
Like an older couple, and it was kind of one of those things like, ashamed, you're too young, we'll take care of the baby.
Okay.
Because like apparently his mom had several men coming in and out of her life, several stepfathers that Matthew never really bonded with.
Yeah, there was one he did, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But so his grandparents were the ones who kind of just raised him because his mom was, the typical, black sheep at the time.
And you got to remember growing up in Kentucky, I mean, it's a lot of people call Kentucky the buckle of the Bible Belt, and that's for good reason. But Matt suffered from depression and anxiety from an early age, and he was looked down upon by his classmates, noting one instance where a girl he liked and wanted to date was forbidden to date him by her father, stating that he was, quote, illegitimate. Now, it seems kind of rude, seems kind of rough at the time, but in hindsight, his dad looks like a genius.
Well, it makes him look like a genius. Like, see, you dodged.
You see there?
I knew something. No,
maybe Dad knows what he's talking about there.
It's like you were just being an asshole. But it's like that's what I'm talking about. His mom was the typical unwed teenage mother in a very Christian conservative household.
Yeah.
So they didn't know who the father was. So yeah, this other Southern Baptist man's like, no, you're not dating some bastard.
And during Matthew's formative years, probably when he started becoming interested in girls, he was actually transferred to a Christian school, which probably didn't help his situation either. But it did help him acting out in school, believe it or not. Probably just smaller class sizes and he got a little more attention. But regardless, in high school, Matthew developed an addiction to cough medicine, which, that's telling, right? We did call this the cough medicine killer. He said it made him feel good and helped him escape reality. And his habit eventually got him kicked out of school entirely.
He was on that old Jamarcus Russell diet from the Raiders.
I don't know the reference.
Remember Jamarcus Russell? He was that giant quarterback the Raiders drafted.
I know you know everything Raiders, Andy.
Well, no, he was the quarterback who got kicked out of the NFL because he was just drinking codeine syrup all the time, and they were giving him. They were like, "You're not watching any of the game films." So they gave him blank tapes and were like, "Did you watch?" He was like, "Oh yeah, it was good." And they're like,
"Yeah,
there's nothing on that tape, Jamarcus."
So
burn. He was constantly drinking codeine syrup to help him cope.
God, so they were doing their own little investigation into him. Where'd you find this on? What's that show on HBO?
Hard Knocks.
Oh,
no, this is just one of those Raiders fans things where it's like, Jamarcus Russell was just a bust.
Right. Okay.
It's on that Jamarcus Russell diet, just drinking that codeine syrup to feel good.
Right. Okay. Well, since Matt was getting his Jamarcus Russell on, he now had nothing to occupy his time, and so he dove into video games for a sense of community and acceptance, and also became obsessed with death in the form of horror movies. A fun fact, Matthew actually got along with one of his mother's boyfriends. That's what I was alluding to earlier when he was younger, because they just watched horror movies together all the time.
That was bonding experience.
Yeah, that's just the only bonding they had.
Right. Hey,
don't you love these killers?
Hey, buddy, you like Hellraiser?
Right. I gotta show you this movie, American Psycho. I wonder if he did introduce him to this, because he did have a fascination with American Psycho, which came out in 2000. about a rich investment banker who is a serial killer in his spare time, if you're unfamiliar with the film for some reason.
And it was also a book way before then, too. It's been
Yes.
a book throughout since the 80s, I believe, because it's set kind of during the 80s Wall
Yes.
Street boom and stuff.
Yes, I'd like to get the book.
So yeah,
honestly.
it's been a book and kind of in the zeitgeist of serial killer like books and stuff since the 80s.
Yeah.
So maybe he'd even read the book before the movie came out too.
It's a possibility.
Maybe it's a
He
possibility.
was quite obsessed with this. Matthew would dress as the main character and post pictures of himself on another secret Instagram account by the name of Marty Radical, where he was free to explore a darker community far from his alter ego and pastor wannabe self.
Radical.
Yeah. So
When you say
radical.
dressed up as Patrick Bateman, does that just mean he put on a suit? Or was it like the raincoat attire?
no.
Or was it the naked through the hallway with a chainsaw? Like which dressing up Patrick Bateman are you doing?
I think when we say quote unquote dressing up, I think he was putting up pictures that suggested that he was like or wanted to be like the character.
Okay, I was
For
just
instance, I
confused.
think
It's
there
like-
was even one photo where he deep faked his own face
onto
onto the
Christian
character.
Bale.
Yes.
I could see that.
And then there's other photos where he was just wearing a suit and had like fake blood splatter on his face and
Yeah.
whatnot. Which is, gosh, so dark knowing
What
what
this
his
guy's-
mugshot
yeah.
looks like. But one of his Tumblr posts stated this, and it says, quote, "Ever since I was little, I had some strong activities in my dreams. Nightmares, night terrors, sleepwalking, hallucinations, and controlled dreams have also filled my life so far," end quote. So it kind of seems like he's looking for help or at least community in this sense, on Tumblr as well. So we don't really know how many alternate social media platforms he had. The only ones that I could find were his Instagram account, Marty_Radical.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still up.
It's not.
Did
It's private
did you
still.
look for it? Okay.
Yeah, it's private.
Okay, and then of course his Tumblr account, which I'm not sure. Maybe it was Marty Radical as well.
I'm just what is a controlled dream? I've never heard
Like a
that.
lucid dream.
Oh, like a lucid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because he says like strong activities in my dreams, nightmares, night terrors, sleepwalking, and controlled dreams. I'm like, I was just confused. I was like, what? Are you just listing this? Are you just finding like synonyms for the same thing?
No, I think he just had lucid dreams.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. He also mentioned to his friends that he was curious what it felt like to kill someone. Kind of damning. Not something most people talk about.
Yeah, you're not coming back to the party after that.
No,
You're not coming to the next round of disc golf.
no, you are not. He also talked of committing suicide and murdering others. Not in that order, of course. But it wouldn't be long before Matthew would take his ideas and put them into action. So let's go back to him and Lauren's relationship. We're going back to 2017. We're jumping back forward to August 31st. The couple was struggling, yes, but Lauren was going on about her day the best way she knew how. Her Scentsy business was doing well, and she had taken to Facebook and YouTube to help promote her business. Also, later that night, while Lauren was cooking dinner and talking to her sister, this is a creepy fact that most sources leave out. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. This is so fucking damning. I don't understand why it's not in every single one.
I know what you're about to talk about, but like as I've looked at several different sources and I've only
is
seen
left
this
out
in
of everything.
one.
Yeah.
I saw this in one source. I was like, that is way more important.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, all of our sources are noted below the description. But also later that night, while Lauren was cooking dinner and talking to her sister, a woman showed up at the door named Valerie. Matt answered the door and appeared to know her. It's not clear what they were talking about, but a few seconds later, Matthew called into the kitchen to Lauren, telling her that Valerie needed his help and he was going to go with her for a little while. Lauren's like, what the fuck? Yeah, so while Lauren's cooking dinner, she's actually on the phone with her sister, Beth. That's how we get this testimony.
Yeah, because they
That's
were
how we
planning. They had been planning a dinner together that night.
Yes.
She had been cooking for most of the afternoon.
Right.
And then she's on the phone with her sister
Right.
while she's cooking the dinner.
And Beth is the one that told us this play-by-play here.
Yeah.
Because she can hear it on the other end of the phone. Her
Exactly.
and Lauren were very close. Lauren was super close with Beth and her children. I think she had 2 nephews that she was super close with.
Yeah, Beth was the last one to talk to her alive.
Right. So Lauren's in there cooking dinner for him. And then he's at the door saying, I'm going to go out with this girl. And Lauren's like, what the fuck? I'm making you dinner.
I got a conflicting report saying that he knew her or she was a friend or it was like an
Oh, he knew
ex-coworker. It was
her.
like an ex-coworker or something like that.
I don't know how he knew her. I'm
Yeah,
not
because
gonna
I
say
saw
to
one
that.
story that said like she was like talking him into going to sell some stuff or like he was going to go ride with her on some sales calls or something for like
What?
a different business. So yeah, it was
in
like
the evening
yeah, it was,
around dinner time.
Yeah, it didn't
no.
make any real sense because then followed up by what he says later on. I don't know if you have this in the thing where like she called him later on or texted him,
Yeah.
and said like, "Are you coming home?" And he said, "No, you can eat without me. I'm having too much fun."
Yeah.
So it's like, were
Yeah,
you?
his exact text was, "Go ahead and have dinner without me. I'm having too much fun with her."
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't think you were going out on sales calls. I don't think you were going for a job interview or anything like that. This was
Right.
You were going out with a girl.
Right. So naturally, Lauren is furious. She's shocked at what she's reading. So she texts her sister immediately. She says, "It's over. I'm done with him." Apparently, Matt may have been trying to even the score, though, as he thought Lauren had a crush on this guy from their church named David. Now, nothing had occurred between the two that we know of. But it was also around this time that he told her that he'd been hurt before his wife cheated on him. His first wife cheated on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying now that he was married before and this is what happened. Okay, his wife cheated on him and he left her.
That's something
Which
too
is
about
bullshit.
Yeah, that's a very big bullshit story. But like one big thing about his first wife that we failed to mention earlier when they were talking is that he kind of left out the notion that he had been married before when he was talking to Lauren, when he was kind of like trying to woo her.
Yeah.
And then
I
like
have
they
an
were
instance here.
they were sitting around like with her family doing game night or something one
Yes.
night, and it came out that he had been married before.
Yep.
And everybody in her family was like, "How old are you? And you've already had a failed marriage." And
Yeah, they questioned him about it, and he was just like super standoffish, like very vague, wouldn't give them any information. And of course,
saying she left him and hurt him and stuff. Yeah.
that was, I don't know if he even said that.
No, that's just
I
how
mean,
that's
they
what he
seem-
ended up saying. Like that was his
Well, that's
reasoning.
what he ended up telling Lauren when she's upset about him leaving with another woman.
That too, yeah.
And they're
Like-
not even a year into their marriage. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he told them like at that night that was what happened. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I got left, I got cheated. I know he did later on tell Lauren that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember if he told the family that night, like, oh yeah, she messed around, she hurt me and left. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember if he told her that or not.
But the reality of it was, regardless, Brooke, Matt's ex-wife, was actually interviewed in multiple documentaries, and she said that Matthew was abusive, financially irresponsible, and actually cheated on her multiple times. So, and then also got violent with her, which we'll talk about later. So that was on August 31st. The very next day, on September 1st, is when tragedy finally struck. Matthew made a call to 911, panicked and distraught, describing the horrific scene that he woke up to. Now, before we play this clip, I want to clarify that the voices have been altered by law enforcement. It is common practice in North Carolina to disguise the voices of 911 callers, so both the dispatcher and Matthew do not sound like this, but it's still very easy to understand what's being said.
And one thing what Michael was saying when he said the very next day, it's not like the whole next day. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning. It's just
the
after midnight.
Yeah, it's technically the next day, but
So you're talking hours later,
yeah,
really.
like I think Matt, I think somewhere like she said she went to bed around 10,
Mm-hmm.
and the phone call at 911 you're about to hear happens at like 1:09 a.m.
Yep.
So it's not many hours later. It's in the early hours of the morning.
That's right. So, Andy, go ahead and play the clip.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Patuxent Drive.
Okay, just repeat that address to make sure we have it right.
Patuxent Drive, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, and what is your first and last name? Phone number you calling from?
Phone number.
Yes, sir. Tell me exactly what happened.
I think I killed my...
What do you mean by that? What happened?
I had a dream, and then I turn on the lights and she's dead on the floor.
How?
I have blood all over me, and there's a bloody knife on the bed, and I think I did it.
Yeah, very controlled dream.
Okay. Alright, stay on the phone with me. I'm getting her ambulance, okay?
I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
When did you wake up to find this?
I don't even know what time it is.
All right, stay on the phone with me, sir. I just gotta ask you a few questions, okay? I'm getting some help to you. Are you with the patient now?
Yeah, I can see her.
Okay. All right. How old is the patient? How old is your?
She's 29.
Okay. Is she awake at all right now? What makes you think she's dead? Is she awake?
She's not breathing.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. Do you think she is beyond any help?
I don't know. I'm too scared to get too close to her.
Okay. Just stay on the phone with me, sir. I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
I'm so scared.
All right. I've already sent the paramedics to help you. Okay. I'm sending someone to assist you. Just please leave everything as you found it. Is there anything else we can do for you, sir? Where's the knife right now?
The knife's on the bed. I'm not next to it, so I don't have a weapon on me or anything like that.
Okay. When did you wake up?
I don't know. I took more medicine than I should have.
What medicine did you take?
I took Corseed, cough and cold, Corseed, HPT, cough and cold, because I know it can make you feel good. So a lot of times I can't sleep at night.
Okay.
I took some.
Very specific
All right,
on the brand. Everything.
What are you sure she's not breathing?
She's not moving. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here with you. Okay, let's at least see if she's breathing. Okay. All right.
By her.
Can you see her from where you're at?
Yeah, it's so bad. There's so much blood.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stay here on the phone with you until help gets there. Okay. Just don't touch anything. Just look at is she breathing at all? Is her chest moving? Is anything going on with her?
No.
Okay. Well, we're gonna at least.
Blood is dried on me.
It's dried.
The blood's not wet on me. The blood is dry.
That's telling.
I don't know what. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
all right. Well, we're gonna at least try to help her. Okay. All right. Just give me this. All right. I've already sent the paramedics to help you. Just stay on the line. I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do next. Okay. Are you right by her?
Oh my God. I mean, I can see her, but oh my God.
Stay with me, sir. I know this is upsetting, but we were gonna try to do as much for her as you can. If you're not sure that she's gone, we're gonna try to help her. Okay. So just listen carefully. Just listen, okay, sir? First, just look at her right now. Can you tell me what you see? Is the chest moving? Is she breathing? Anything at all?
No, she's not moving at all. Oh my God.
That's also very damning as well, considering how they find her.
It is.
No, he didn't deserve this. Why?
I understand, sir. I understand, but right now we just want to make sure we're doing as much as possible. Is there anyone else at all in the home with you, or is it just you and her?
No, it's just me and her.
Where are you in the house? Where are you in the house, sir?
At the back of the house. There's a light on it.
Okay, well. All right, is the door unlocked?
I don't know.
Can you go do that for me, sir? That way the paramedics can get in. Are you able to do that?
No.
Okay, go ahead and stay on the phone with me. Go ahead and unlock the door, okay?
That's not blue light.
What'd you say, sir?
Somebody.
Go ahead and unlock the door. Let me know when she done that, okay? Let me know when the door's unlocked.
And that's basically when the paramedics start to arrive as well, and he's telling him to unlock the door. But it sounded very much like he said, "I stabbed my wife."
Yeah, he's pretty much taking responsibility. He just, he's obviously trying to play to his defense. It's not obvious in this video, okay? Not yet. But I think it will become clear. So basically, he wakes up from a dream to find his wife in this condition. He was drenched in blood at first. The blood-soaked knife was beside Lauren's body, which her body was also covered in blood. And that's because she had been stabbed 123 times.
Yeah.
123 times.
And remember, he did, you heard in the call, he says, the blood on me was dried. The blood on me was dried. It wasn't wet.
Right.
So he would have been 123 times. You would probably think you'd probably be pretty bloody after 123 stab wounds.
And probably exhausted. He probably went right back to sleep.
You would think.
I mean, if he's drinking all this cough medicine as well, right?
Yeah, that very specifically branded cough medicine that he had sitting on the table waiting.
Right. Yeah, point to that. That's what did it. But regardless, paramedics found her on the floor, as Matthew had described, in the fetal position with clumps of his hair in her hands.
See, I heard the opposite. That's contradicting right there. I saw that it was her own hair.
It was not.
Because like they said, they found her in the fetal position, like just curled up. So that's another thing. It's like, how are you even seeing her chest move, Matt? Because like when they found her, she was curled up in a ball.
Yeah.
Like up against the
corner
of the bed.
Well, he said that he couldn't see her chest move in the
that's
call.
what he's saying. He's like, I can't. It's not moving. Her chest isn't moving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Matt, we've seen some of the things. She's in a ball by the bed, like just in the fetal position. So I don't know where he was looking from, but you couldn't see from a distance whether her chest was moving at all.
And now, I'm not putting you down for finding that about her having her own hair in her hands, because that is very popular if you look online. But according to the autopsy and the coroner report, the hair in her hand was tested. It was all Matt's.
Damn. Okay.
All of it. It was all defense wounds.
Yeah, I know I read about a bunch about the defensive wounds and stuff as well, but yeah. And that's one thing to remember, that 123 stab wounds, most of those were defensive wounds.
Oh, definitely.
I think she had one really deep one in her back, and I think her throat ended up being cut as well.
Yeah.
But the 123, those were just all over her arms and her chest and her back.
We're going to break those
hands.
down too.
It is.
Yeah, we're going to break those down.
Very bloody.
So anyway, she was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead upon arrival, and Matthew was quickly taken into police custody, as you can imagine. And as you heard in his 911 call, Matthew was already trying to lay the groundwork for his defense, blaming the cough medicine Coricidin, which is manufactured by Bayer, which most of you have probably heard of.
Yeah, the aspirin company.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what he was blaming for this crazy violent outburst, claiming it usually calms him down and makes him feel good, but he took too much, and it put him in a hallucinogenic state in which he committed the murder. The news, right?
That's a lot of cough syrup right there, apparently.
Yeah, that's a lot of cough syrup. The News and
just
Observer,
a big gulp of it.
Right.
Drink it with a straw. Jesus.
Yeah, he had one of those hats that you take to ball games.
Yeah,
which has cough syrup on both sides with straws coming down.
Just a camelback. Yeah, just a camelback all around. Just walking around, just
right,
sucking real hard on that. Yeah, it's just pure cough syrup.
Yep. But either way, the News and Observer newspaper in Raleigh reported that Phelps attorney Elliot Abrams says the effects of the cold medicine are, quote, certainly an interesting subject of inquiry. Now, Bayer, which makes Coricidin cough and cold, issued this statement about the case. Quote, Bayer extends our deepest sympathies to this family. Patient safety is our top priority, and we continually monitor adverse events regarding all of our products. There is no evidence to suggest that Coricidin is associated with violent behavior, end quote. So, of course, that's from the people who make Coricidin, right?
Yeah. And from what I learned as well, they did that company has done lots of testings on the cough syrup as well, and they do know it. Like apparently, it's that DM on bottles. That's like the chemical. It's like dextromethorate something. I can't
DXM to be exact.
It's like that's the thing that's going to get you high if you drink too much of it.
It was so hard for me not to say DMX every single time I saw that. I mean, it's in all caps too. Yeah, right. Rest in peace.
King.
But let's talk a little bit about Coricidin, okay? I got this from WebMD, so, totally believable, and we're all going to die from it.
Why does it already say I have cancer at the end of this?
That's just from the
It's in
WebMD
quotes.
link. That's actually embedded into the link from WebMD. If you search anything on WebMD, they give you a link that then if you do click that, you will have cancer.
It's like the watermark on all their pages.
Yes,
Yeah. So you know it's from WebMD?
Exactly. So, but Stephanie Ferrari, a clinical professor at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, says Coricidin is considered safe and effective when taken at recommended doses. But she adds, even at that amount, patients will often be warned of possible side effects. She says, we usually recommend to be careful if you drive because you know it will affect your brain, even at the recommended doses, Ferry says. 1 tablet of Coricidin HPB cough and cold contains 30 milligrams of DXM. That's the chemical we were talking about earlier. The recommended daily dosage is no more than 4 tablets or 120 milligrams of DXM. That's for a whole day.
Well, they're just not wanting you to have too much fun, but yeah.
Yeah. No, obviously not.
Just kidding.
Ferrari says the medicine slows down breathing and suppresses the cough reflex in the brain. Like most medications, it just turns off signals in your brain. It's not really helping you, which can make people feel drowsy or dizzy at regular doses and euphoric or high if they abuse or misuse it. But here's a fun fact for you. Your tolerance is not affected by abusing DXM. So if 1 bottle of Coricidin cough syrup just makes you hallucinate, makes you go off the wall if you drink the whole thing, every day you drink that, it will have that same effect. Your tolerance will not grow.
I can see why this stuff gets very easily abused and why they have to lock up all the Sudafed all the time now.
Can you imagine if their tolerance did go up?
Good God,
Oh my God. We wouldn't be able to keep that shit on the shelf.
No, it's already behind the little, glass cages and shit everywhere, or behind the counter most of the time.
Right. And as we know, the drug is often abused, particularly by teens. And that can trigger psychotic behavior in rare cases, Ferrari says.
And NFL quarterbacks.
At least for the Raiders. The medicine is sold under street names like Poor Man's PCP or Red Devils and Skittles. Skittles, my favorite. Consumer health, not my favorite candy. I don't like Skittles. I'm just saying that's my favorite name for this.
I didn't know PCP was a rich man's drug. I've never seen any billionaires doing PCP. So I'm not sure what the poor man's PCP is.
It's cough syrup.
I guess. Didn't know that was a high quality rich man drug, but okay.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Apparently.
Andy. We can't all afford PCP like you, Andy.
Apparently. I'm only getting the low grade stuff.
All right, but Consumer Healthcare Products Association says 1 in 30 teens report abusing DXM. That's 1 in 30 teens report it. So how many are actually doing it? Because, for them to admit it, come on.
Yeah, because teens always admit the things they do wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
They're very easily convinced to
definitely.
Just be like,
that's probably a really accurate statistic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No teens have ever lied to their parents about taking drugs.
But when taken at high doses, DXM can cause hallucinations, they say. Mild distortions of color and sound. That is not enough to kill your wife, as well as loss of motor control, according to the association.
Which that kind of sounds like a counterpoint to killing your wife. It's
Yeah,
going
that
to make
sounds
you
like-
so sleepy and loose, that you're just going to
Couldn't possibly have the energy to stab
reach
someone.
at things.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
just going to start patting at things like a cat.
Exactly. Ferrari says when people abuse it and take 8 to 20 times more than is recommended. First off, 8 to 20 times, that's a huge window. But I guess it affects people differently, so they have to have that big of a window there. But if you take 8 to 20 times more than is recommended, that is when we start to see psychosis and hallucinations and euphoria and feelings of, quote, getting high, she says. And a 2013 study reports on a 40-year-old man hospitalized for acute psychosis after he was found acting bizarrely at a supermarket. After rapidly taking 30 tablets of Coricidin HPB, he showed paranoid behavior and said that he could, quote, look at people and know exactly what they were thinking, end quote.
Yeah, they're all looking at you going, what the fuck?
That is what paranoia is, my friend.
Everybody was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Where are your pants and what the fuck? It wasn't hard to think what everyone was thinking. They just watched you Pez dispense 30 Coricidin tablets or whatever.
Right.
You just loaded that in like a fucking mag. Just
Right. They know exactly what you're thinking.
speed loaded some cough syrup tabs.
Right. But this man in particular was paranoid, Andy. Understatement of the year. He was restless. He had psychosis. He was not aware of what he was doing as he tried to pull out his IV and throw things at medical staff. Okay, so that is one instance.
Still, yeah.
Still not quite as crazy as murdering someone in a dream.
Yeah, not stabbing someone 123 times.
Right. But apparently this is enough for most of Matthew's family and friends because they still think the cough syrup was the main cause of his actions. One friend said that she would trust Matthew around her kids right now. Right now.
Well, I wouldn't trust you around those kids, but okay.
Yeah, right. I don't trust your judgment anymore.
I don't trust you as a parent now.
Right.
I wouldn't trust you around mine.
Right. But in my opinion, the Matthew that they have in their minds does not line up with the one in the mugshot.
It doesn't. Well, you
blood
also have
speckled on his face mugshot.
You also have to think this guy was also having a secret Instagram account, a secret Tumblr account where he was posting all this dark shit that he wasn't sharing with his friends and stuff like that.
That's right.
We have one friend who literally was so freaked out by one of the things he sent her at one point that she was like, I need to take a break from being his friend.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, this guy, like the things he did share that were dark, people didn't like.
Right.
So yeah, he's not sharing all of his problems with all of his church friends and things like that. They were trying to put on this, we're a really good Christian couple.
Absolutely.
We're very Christ-minded and we're doing very well together. That was the image they were trying to put up.
And Matthew did graduate eventually from seminary, which if you guys aren't familiar, that's basically Bible college.
Yeah, that's pastor school.
It's pastor school, pretty much. And so he knew how to play the game. He knew the terminology. And if you listen to his address of the court, which we will play later in the episode, I think it kind of really shows itself there.
Yeah,
and when you watch the way he addresses, he likes being in front of people.
He has that like almost pastoral, like the way he's speaking. He uses very biblical words. He's very, I'm a monster. I should be amongst the wretched.
And also, before he starts reading, the way he just scans the crowd and he's looking at every single person there. It's like, I just can't imagine what's going through his mind. But you can tell that he's eating up the attention, honestly.
Probably.
He really is. But back to that mugshot I was referring to. If you do Google the mugshot, or if you're watching on YouTube right now, we have it on the screen. But those little specks on his face are actually dried blood that he was unable to get off in the shower. That's right, because he cleaned himself up. He actually showered and changed clothes before calling 911 to help Lauren.
Right? That's the first thing you do when you accidentally kill your wife. You're like, well, if I'm going to have company coming over, I need to look my best.
Yeah, and some people might think that you're trying to hide something, though, Andy.
Yeah, you would think.
What do you think?
Maybe you might think you might be feeling some regret, and you're like, maybe I can get all this off. Shit, I can't. I guess I better confess.
I don't think that was it at all. I think he was just trying to fool people. He was trying to, hide the whole instance of what he did.
That's one of my theories, at least with this whole case, is because they did, like Michael said, they did find that he did shower and change clothes in the bathroom. And the only reason they found that out is because they did go in there afterwards and do a luminol test in the bathroom.
Yes.
And find all that blood. So that was my theory, is like maybe he killed her and then thought maybe he could wash everything off and get completely clean.
Yeah.
But he couldn't, so he had to come up with the cough syrup. Like
Exactly.
that was just my theory. I'm not trying to spoil too many things, but it's like, you find all the blood and clothes and stuff. He clearly tried to clean himself up in some way or some form or another.
And this is clearly damning evidence. Yeah. And what it led to was a much deeper investigation. It led to multiple search warrants, and it came out later through family members and the police later confirming this with their bank records, that the couple was having a lot of financial issues, a lot of money problems. When they first got together, Lauren had over $10,000 in her savings.
Yeah, that's good for a young girl right out of college.
Absolutely. And he deplenished that in no time. They were down to under $1,000 at this time.
And that's under 10 months of marriage? Something like that?
Yeah. And so Lauren had taken drastic measures right before the murder to ensure that Matthew was cut off. And not only from the money, she was seeking a divorce, as we have already alluded to. This was confirmed by text that the couple had sent each other in the days leading up to the murder. Everything they owned was searched, including both of their vehicles, a 2014 Ford Fusion and a 2017 Mitsubishi Outlander, also their townhome, and of course, their phones.
And remember, that was also Lauren's townhome that he then moved into.
That's correct.
So she already owned that. Like, she already had her own place, her own house. She was very well established and was doing pretty fine on her own.
Yeah.
And this guy seemed to have found a way to, weasel his way in there.
Yeah, he did. He knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. He was using somebody. Police also uncovered the fact that Matthew was previously married and had apparently abused his first wife to the point of her leaving him.
Shocking.
In particular, when he pulled her down the hallway by her hair, according to local authorities. This was Brooke, who was interviewed in a lot of the documentaries. Yeah, according to police reports and local authorities in Kentucky, he pulled her down the hallway by her hair, and she was like, fuck this.
Yeah, that's the woman who clearly hurt him very badly and left him because she was cheating on him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're Matthew or his attorney, obviously you don't want this previous marriage coming out in court.
And you don't want the ex-wife taking the stand or anything.
No, this does not look great in court. So Matt's lawyer spun this story another way. He claimed that Matthew's wife left him for another man that she met on a mission trip. And now heartbroken, he couldn't handle Lauren leaving him too, so he snapped, or some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, snapped and stabbed her 123 times. Like I referred to earlier, some cuts as deep as 4 inches. Mm-hmm. Okay, he stabbed her 44 times in the head and neck alone. 44. 24 in the torso, 17 times in her right arm, and 38 times in her left arm. And you can think, if he's over top of her, right, and he's right-handed, a lot of those wounds are going to go to the left arm because she's going to have that up trying to block that knife. You know what I'm saying? So that would explain why so many times in the left arm. 38. Those were almost all defensive wounds.
Yeah.
I'm imagining. And she also got clumps of his hair out at the same time.
Yeah. And one thing to remember that just how violent that 123 times is, like the 44 in the head and like neck and stuff, those were after the arms and torso.
You're trying
and stuff
to
she's
blocking
mutilate all of that.
Yeah.
And basically, like some of the medical experts came out and said that, like, even if he had just slit her throat to start, she still would have bled out over a period of like a few minutes. Mm-hmm. And this all took place in the matter of like a minute or so. Like this stabbing, just an aggressive flurry of stabs. So even if he had stabbed her in the throat first, she would have been alive. You realize for the entirety of it.
You know that for sure, that the whole stabbings took place in under a minute?
It seems like that was
if that's the case, he stabbed her 2 times a second, over 2 times a second.
Yeah, they're also referring to, when they say stab wounds, let's clarify a little bit. Stab wounds, they are also referring to as, those are also just cuts, those are nicks, those are any blade wounds.
Right, not every
Yeah, so it's not like a permanent or like a puncture or a stab, so it's cuts everywhere, but like the one thing that I heard that it said that the attack probably took place in a span about a minute or so, like, because she didn't have too much of a fight to put up once he got a knife to her right there in the bedroom. But yeah, like that amount of damage, she was, sadly, that was a lot of defensive wounds.
Yes.
It wasn't a killing blow first.
No.
It wasn't a you're unconscious type deal.
No. And it it exemplifies a crime of passion. It has all of the tellings. And like you said, the fact that he probably stabbed her in the arms and the torso first and then went to the face and neck afterwards.
Yeah,
with
once
the 44
she wasn't,
extra stabs, like that's absolutely insane.
When she could no longer defend herself anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's, yeah.
And 123 stabs, you just don't quote unquote snap for that long. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. I don't know. I know you say it takes place in under a minute, but still,
because
a minute is a long time.
I did read that. I think one of the medical examiners or some report said that none of the wounds were post-mortem. So like that was a kind of a defining factor of how long the attack took.
Yes,
it was like the blood was still pumping during all of the wounds. So
right. But ultimately, Lauren's death was labeled a homicide by multiple sharp force injuries. And only 4 days after the murder, Matthew was already in court for the proceedings, facing a first-degree murder charge where he could get the death penalty or at least life. Matthew appeared dazed and distant. It's a good way to be when you just ruined your life.
Yeah.
There's videos on YouTube depicting this scene. It's not the ones where he has long hair, looking like a caveman with the beard. It's actually, if you look up the videos and the scenes where he is wearing the orange and white striped clothes, he still has the shorter cut hair.
It's basically like his arraignment.
Yes, that was his arraignment. Those were his early court sessions. So as Matthew walked out, his lawyers told reporters that he was hired by Matthew's family and they couldn't be at the proceedings because they were too far away. In Kentucky? Kentucky's not that far away.
Not super
far. Less than 8 hours, man.
Not far, like not far, too far.
Depending on where you're at in Kentucky.
Not too far if your son's going on a murder trial.
That's what I'm saying. They obviously didn't want to be there.
His family just didn't
They
come.
had convictions about what was going on, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can say whatever they want in their official statements, but they knew that shit was going down.
Yeah.
And also, when asked if Matthew showed any remorse, his lawyer simply stated, quote, "He's going through a trauma."
He caused a trauma.
Right.
Going through it.
But regardless, none of this trauma or cough syrup shit helped him at all in court. Okay, so Matthew's blood was tested upon his arrest and showed that while he did indeed have DXM in his system, it wasn't nearly enough to cause hallucinations or even dizziness at that.
Yeah, and that was one thing too. It's like he was tested, and we're going to say, like, we'll give him a small window of a couple of hours from when he would have taken the DXM and by the time he got tested.
Yeah.
So even in that window of time, the medical examiner that tested it was like, yeah, there's still not enough in his blood system that would have indicated he was completely tripping balls.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So with that little nugget of truth, he was fucked.
Fuck Nugget.
That's a hell of a horse to bet it all on, right? I mean, that was your only line of defense was the cough medicine, and you didn't even take enough to freaking... It's like you didn't research that shit. I guess if
No,
you
he
Googled
did.
it, then it would have been...
He did. That was another thing that I don't know if you found that in any of your looks. They did
He researched
They
how much?
found 2 Google searches on his phone that said, "Can you?" It's like, how much cough syrup makes you hallucinate, or like,
Okay.
and how much, or can you hallucinate on this cough medicine?
Oh,
And then
okay.
one of the reasons that the cops were so kind of angled towards like this is probably not right. When they came into the house, like I said, the body, she was up against the bed in a fetal position with the knife on the bed, but the cough syrup and the bottle and the cup seemed to be very like neatly placed, like on display, like on the counter.
Like, look, there it is right
Like
there. There's the medicine I
like,
took.
oh no, that's what I took. That's what did it.
Yeah.
And it was just very neatly placed right there. Like it was just waiting for them to be found.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were very confused, or not really confused, but very concerned when they see these different Google searches on his phones.
Yeah.
And then you see the open bottle sitting right there with not enough gone to make you do this.
Yeah. Right on, Andy. You're earning your pay already.
Yay!
Glad to have you here, Patty.
I do things. And I helped.
So regardless of all that, on Friday, October 5th, 2018, Matthew pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, which forever negates the cough medicine defense because he basically, through this plea, he admits premeditation. So if he ever gets an appeal, which he never will, hopefully, there is no reason to appeal this case. He can't even use this defense. So like if a study comes out later saying that cough medicine and the amount that was found in his system did cause someone to hallucinate or whatever, too bad.
Yep. Sorry, you don't
can't
get
use this
grandfathered in.
anymore. You basically said no, it wasn't the cough medicine.
There were too many other factors that led to me doing this. There
Right.
was so much evidence. Yeah.
Which
There
I
was-
agree with.
100%.
Yeah.
This was not just you drank too much cough medicine one night and had a violent outburst, because there was he didn't have a violent past of like trauma like that. It was like, I'm not saying that. I'm
He did
talking
have a
about, like,
violent past.
I'm talking about, this wasn't like a man with like PTSD, like a
Oh, no,
veteran
no,
who
no.
came back from combat and was having very.
Well, don't
you
negate
know,
anyone's trauma, Andy. You
no,
don't know
I'm
what
not.
he went through.
I'm not negating any of that. I'm just saying, like, from what he has presented us,
Yeah.
the things that, like, he started taking cough syrup in high school because he was living with his grandparents
Mm-hmm.
in what seemed like a pretty good conservative Christian home where he was sent to a private Christian school.
Right.
And yes, there may have been trauma in his life as well, but he, like, even the things he was talking about, I was taking this stuff and I hallucinated and got so violent. Like, dude, you didn't have the kind of like violence throughout your life that just caused you to just, Wolverine
Yeah.
out every time you had some, lapse in judgment.
Right.
So yes, you did have an abusive past with your ex-wife. That is 100% fair.
Yeah.
But it's like,
And
other
apparent-
than that,
I don't know
there's
if
not.
cough medicine was even involved in that one.
Yeah, and you're not looking
You
at a
never
guy who's
said it
like
was.
you're not looking at somebody who has like a violent job or like a cage fighter, or it's like, you're not talking about somebody who is like a naturally violent person all the time.
Right,
He was
right.
putting on a pretty much a front for everybody.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just my little opinion on it, but
Yeah. And he continued to put on this front, really, in front of everyone. There was 50 people from Hope Lutheran Church, where him and Lauren attended, and they were there in support of Lauren, obviously, not him, in matching T-shirts. I think their shirt said, like, Lauren is a light, or the light.
I think it was Lauren's Light or something.
Lauren's
Yeah.
Light. That's it. But in front of all of those people, as we were referring to earlier, he stood up, surveyed the crowd, and then began to give his, what would you call it, Andy? Not a confession, but I guess his reasoning,
His remorse.
his remorse,
Yeah,
his
his-
last statement.
Yeah.
So here's what Matthew had to say in front of his family and friends and church family.
I am sorry that I took away Lauren's life. a life that was deeply connected to so many people. Her family, her friends, her church, her co-workers, and especially her nephews. And though I am the very least of these, I took her away from myself. This was a senseless, mindless act, and I regret every step that led me in that direction. Lauren was loving, caring, giving, hardworking, smart, fun, fashionable, and loyal. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, a leader, a teacher, an aunt. I consider my own life worth nothing in the shadow of the tragedy weighing over my mind and on the hearts of so many people in this room today. I feel like a monster, one of the wretched, a part of the darkness we don't speak of. That darkness consumed me until I was blind to the path I had taken and deaf to my own cries for help. That darkness caused me to do the unimaginable, to take a life that was not mine to take. No length of time will ease my inner sorrow or relieve me of the memory of such a godless act as my hands, which I thought incapable of doing, have committed. And I will have to live the rest of my life with these hands as a constant reminder. I hope my life will be an example of the consequences for those who think that drinking, drugs, and carelessness will only affect themselves and no one else. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Because I now know the implications of my actions reach far more people than I realized, the people who were the most important in my life. And I am sorry. I am sorry to all those people. And even though I'll never be able to make up for the loss and the grief that I have caused all of you, I hope you will begin to see that I am doing everything I can from here to show you that I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, the video that we pulled that clip from is a nearly 4-hour court proceeding where for over 3 hours of it, Lauren's family and friends tell the court what Lauren meant to them. And they give Matt like the last 2 minutes, which is what you heard there.
Yeah.
Which is honestly too much. Like, who really needs to hear it? It just sounded like a bunch of bullshit. It sounded
Just
like
kind of rambling there, trying to make himself seem more
there's a bunch
pitiful.
of filler telling all, oh, she was a daughter. She was like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
The people here know. Okay.
You're all scrawny with your fucking Manson arms and big old fucking wild ass hair now.
Yeah.
It looks like he's trying to make himself look more defenseless or something.
Yeah, exactly. So with this plea deal, he basically just avoided the death penalty and received life without the possibility of parole. Lauren's father stated in court, quote, "How could you do this to us? We treated you like a son." He actually stood up and screamed this across the courtroom. And like we said, it can all be found in the court video, which is linked below. And Lauren's mother said the way that Lauren died plays in her mind over and over again, and that Matthew should be afraid of prison, but he should fear separation from God even more. I disagree. I think
prison's going to be shit.
Yeah, I think prison's going to it be awful for him. Yeah, I hope it is.
Those scrawny arms, yeah.
Yeah, he should definitely fear prison a lot.
It doesn't look like he's been hitting the weight yard very much.
No. I mean, he hasn't even been there yet, so.
He's been in holding for a while, at least.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he should have got some push-ups in, get that body weight shit, and get some dips on that bed, man.
Get somebody to get this boy that Charles Bronson book.
Me and Lauren talked about it one time. We were like, I think it was a Just the Banter question. Somebody asked, what would you guys do if you were convicted of a crime you didn't do and sentenced to prison? I'd be like, I'd immediately start working out.
Just fucking Bronson dips and that's
just fucking wherever I can get steroids. Just call up all of my friends that can get shit and just. I need help.
Join a gang.
I'm trying to be as big as possible. But just to add insult to injury, Lauren's family had been planning a trip to Disney World with the whole family, including Matt, douche. And the travel package came in the mail the day she was murdered. You can't make this shit up, dude.
Dude, another thing about that Disney trip, too, which is so shitty, is that they are planning this family Disney trip. Her sister, Beth, the one who was on the phone the whole time,
right?
Beth had already paid for this trip on her credit card Lauren was then putting away cash from her jobs and paychecks to pay
Yes.
her sister back for this trip.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to her, because like you said, she cut off
That's
Matt
correct.
from her cards. Unbeknownst to her, he was stealing that cash out of her little savings box or whatever and spending it on his Xbox and Best Buy shit.
He found any savings that she had, any finances that she had. She couldn't hide it from him at that time.
Yeah.
That's why divorce felt like the only option for her.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
like I
he's
said,
ruining my life. He's ruining my future. Like,
this was 10 months of marriage. This was not even a full year together. They had met in middle school and then got married after some Instagram talking and a little bit of courtship.
yeah.
God, it's like a Duggar.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But Lauren's family did still go on the vacation, though. They said that that's what Lauren would have wanted. And I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and what better to get your mind off of such a horrible tragedy? You know what I'm saying? Like, these people need a little bit of a distraction at this point.
I feel
you
like
know,
Disney
honestly.
probably would have done something for them too. If you get down there and Disney knows that you're down there, I'm sure Disney would have been
You
like,
think?
I feel
I don't know if you
like
want that attention. I don't know if
no,
you
I don't
even
feel like they
wanna
would have
make
given
that
you. I feel like they would have just given you a few extra things, like giving you some extra passes, giving you some meal
may have.
cards. Like that's one of those things like Disney is very good about. Like
Yeah.
if that would have known, like one time I was at Disney, I had like a uncomfortable incident. Not even uncomfortable. I just got too close to Mickey Mouse and they told me to move. And
Yeah.
Heather Walters' wife complained to Disney Parks and Management, and I got free rides.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they're very generous.
Yeah. Well, Lauren's parents have actually been a lot more vocal since this, and they've gone on talk shows and other forms of media to promote awareness for domestic violence, and still do to this day. Mm-hmm. The memorial service for Lauren was held on Monday, September 4th in 2017 at Hope Lutheran Church in Wake Forest. And if that church sounds familiar, that's the church that Matthew and her got married in less than a year before.
Yep, that was the church she had been a member of
Came
for
full circle.
most of her entire life.
Yeah. But one good thing about this is Lauren's obituary was completely free of any and all evidence that she and Matthew were even together. She was addressed by her maiden name, Hugelmaier, and no Phelps were mucking up the place whatsoever, man, which is good because,
It is.
she tried to escape this marriage in life and was unable to, but at least in death,
Yeah,
her parents
he doesn't
gave
get to.
her
He
that.
doesn't still get to have it.
Exactly. There was no mention of her of how she died or who she was married to, and like I said, they even used her maiden name. So just don't mention him at all. And I think that's the best thing they could have done.
For her obituary,
Honestly.
yes. I read another article where they were. I think it was actually an article from like the Southern Baptist News or something like that. Which
Yeah.
you know what that's probably like. But it was a lot of the article was like kind of giving a lot of praise to both of them, saying, Matt
Both
was
of them.
this, Matt was this great guy. He was going to be a pastor. He was all these different things, and then just because he got into this rough lifestyle, that these drugs made him kill his wife. And I was
Hold
like,
on, there was another obituary, another
No, it wasn't
article
a- it
written
wasn't like
after
a-
her death, though.
it wasn't an obituary. It was just like a,
But
Southern
still an
News.
article after her death.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of like the Southern Baptist News or something like that, or one of those Southern Baptist websites.
Yeah.
And they were basically, it wasn't victim blaming or giving too much praise to them, but they were just like, this lovely couple had a tragedy strike them when the husband got involved in drugs. It's like, nah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like to twist it like that. Well, I mean, people who are strong in the faith, people who are devout Christians, they don't want to believe that people in their churches, people in their congregations, people in their families are capable of this.
No, they
They don't, especially not. Like, you're supposed to be the light. You're supposed to be the salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going complete opposite. Like you said, the darkness inside that they don't speak of. And that's part of the problem, I think, is not giving these people the outlet to speak about these dark thoughts that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and making them feel like they're weird, like they're the only ones that ever have them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not giving him an excuse by any means. Like I said, this man had a violent past. He had a terrible upbringing. He just, all the sources were there. There was no excuse for this. It's not a cough medicine kill. He knew what he was doing. He showered after. I got no sympathy for him.
He needed help
Zero.
a long time ago. He should have gotten mental health help years before.
And this took place in 2018, man. There's plenty of places, or 2017, there's plenty of places to get mental
and
health. It's not
Michael
like
and I, we both grew up in the Southern Baptist area and the Bible Belt of this country and stuff. So we do know that, like, yes, these churches can be kind of sometimes controlling, and they don't really push for mental health care. They more or less just, pray your problems away, give it all to God, and
give it to God. Yeah,
and it doesn't sometimes you need medication.
Yeah,
it's
sometimes it's a chemical imbalance.
Sometimes you can't pray the crazy away.
Yeah,
like you really do have to go to a doctor and be like, hey, I'm having some really dark, scary thoughts.
Yep.
And I probably need to not talk to God about these, but...
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can't pray the scary away, and you don't have to pray the smell away with Oh My Gaia.
Pray the stank away.
You don't have to pray the stank away, Andy.
Let all the stank out.
You can just use Oh My Gaia. I got a jar with me here if you're watching on the YouTube video. This is a jar of Sailor. One of my favorite scents, my wife's favorite scent. I think that's probably why it's my favorite scent, because it makes me think of her.
Sailor?
But Sailor, yes. A very nice scent. Open that up, Andy. Have you a whiff? Have you a whiff of that? That's right.
That's Sailor.
Andy, did you just eat that? You can eat it.
That tastes like a sailor.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah. You can,
salty, very, very seaworthy. Yeah. I'm gonna get gangrene.
All the years me and Lauren have talked about how you can eat Oh My Gaia, and Andy does it on his first episode.
I'm gonna get scurvy after that.
There you go.
Yeah, that tastes like a pirate.
You will not. You will get nothing from that. It's fine.
Tastes like a sailor.
Your tongue probably smells amazing.
I'll
check it later.
I'm gonna burp. It's gonna smell amazing. Did you just burp? That was lovely.
Can I do this ad? Can I do this ad? Anyways, if you guys don't know what Oh My Gaia is, if this is your first episode ever listening to True Crime Guys, first off, welcome. But Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while still maintaining effectiveness. And at Oh My Gaia, like I said, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients, so you can even eat it if you want to. Highly don't recommend. What do you think, Andy?
I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend eating it.
No, but
there are a ton of scents to choose from, though, and some of them do smell quite tasty.
They might some of those might taste better than Sailor.
Vanilla, cherry almond, huh? What about pear?
Pear, lemongrass.
I'm so glad I didn't bring Dreamsicle out here. You probably would have ate the whole jar.
Give me a spoon.
It smells amazing, and they come with these little popsicle sticks as well.
Yeah, like the little ice cream spoons.
That's how you can stir up your natural deodorant if it starts to settle or whatever. Some people use it for application.
Yeah, you can just scoop that up and spread it like butter.
I just go the old 2 fingers.
And you just lick your fingers when you're done.
That's right. And we also have our own scent, True Crime Pine. I wish I had a jar with me out here in the studio, but you can check it out at ohmygaia.com. True Crime Pine has our old school podcast logo on it with mugshots of myself and Lauren, actually. And because you're True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the code word CREEPER for 15% off your order. That's CREEPER for 15% off your order at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram or on ohmygaia.com. Okay, guys, you will not regret it. Again, use code word CREEPER for 15% off.
And guys, I get to do my first ad read for the company as well, because we're also going to talk about our another sponsor for this show is Tonic CBD.
Tonic CBD.
This right here is the Tonic Chill
Here, I'll
tincture.
model it for you while you
want
read
to hold it up there for us?
Yeah.
It is true. Not all CBD products are created equal, from how the hemp is grown and processed to how it's formulated and derived into your body or delivered into your body. However you want to put that stuff in your body, you can just get it in there, okay?
Get it in there.
You just get it, whatever orifice you want to put it in there, get it in there. That's why Tonic's products really stand out with original formulas using CBD adaptogens, herbs, and superfoods,
Nailed it.
and has been working to deliver the most effective, intentional, and sustainable products possible.
Yeah.
Good. Can you eat it? Because I ate the other stuff.
You
eat that
can
one?
absolutely
Well,
eat it.
I ate the other one.
That's the idea. With the tincture, you put these under your tongue, hold it for about 30 seconds, about a milliliter. And you just wash that bad boy down.
How much is that? I'm American. How much is a milliliter?
I don't know.
European measurements?
It's like I don't know. It's like a vial. It's marked on the freaking.
It's like a thimble.
It's marked on the thing, Andy. But they also have pre-rolls. These are CBD pre-rolls. So you'll be getting crazy, peeps. This isn't a THC.
Yeah, if you ever see Michael smoking on one of the YouTube videos, it's pure CBD.
Always.
One of those pure CBD pre-rolls.
But here is a pre-roll pack from Tonic, which is pretty cool. Also, very cool little metal case. And then there is a what do you call this? What do you call these square things? UPC or something?
QR code.
QR code.
There we go.
There's a QR code on the back. Scan that bad boy with your phone. It'll tell you where it's at, where it's from, all that good stuff.
But yeah, Tonic cultivates their own hemp on their certified organic farm in upstate New York. We should go up there sometime. We should go take a trip.
That would be great.
Get to rub the plants. Like I used to go to work in the breweries. They could go do that for hops and stuff. You get to rub all the herbs.
Yeah.
But that hemp travels only 30 minutes to our distribution facility, where it's turned into a finished product and sent to you, ensuring the highest quality vibes at every stage of the process.
Absolutely.
With values rooted in quality, integrity, and sustainability, Tonic is committed to creating plant-based wellness products that are good for the people and good for the planet. So if you guys want to, you can visit tonicvibes.com to learn more and use our code CREEPER for 20% off your order.
That's it.
Again, that is tonicvibes.com, code word CREEPER for 20% off your first order.
That's right. And guys, there are links to both of these advertisers right below the description of this episode. Go click those links, and the code word is right below there as well. If you some reason can't remember that, it's CREEPER. Creeper. Always.
Just think about yourself. You're a creeper.
You're a creeper. You're listening to this, you're creeping.
Listen, you creep.
That's right. But if you guys want to continue to get your creep on, check out patreon.com/truecrimeguys, where for just $5 a month, less than a Starbucks coffee, honestly, you can get access to everything we make on True Crime Guys Productions. That's everything, all Sandu content, everything. You can also sign up on patreon.com/Sandu podcast, where for just $3 a month, you can get access to Sandu stuff as well. So if you're already a patron of True Crime Guys, that's great. We appreciate that very much, guys. It's the best way to help the podcast. Also, go leave a review or rate wherever you listen, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, wherever that is. And also, go subscribe on YouTube. Right, Andy?
Also, yes, go
we
subscribe
are on YouTube right
YouTube
now, live.
Hope they're going to start getting some more
Not
camera
live.
angles in here so you can get all different looks at our beautiful faces and stuff.
Yeah, this is the early stages of our new setup. Obviously, me and Lauren had to do a Zoom setup, which I hated. I hated doing that, but, you know, the options are limited when you're recording across the country. But now that me and Andy are in studio together, there's a lot more possibilities for video work and whatnot. So
might even get a green screen or something, so you can just have whatever behind us.
Yeah, we'll just have pictures popping up maybe behind us or between us or something like that. Who knows?
Just be on Pandora like Avatar.
Yeah.
We're doing this show live from the apocalypse.
We'll have one of those screensavers where a box just bounces around.
Oh, you'll distract the viewers too much.
You just want it to hit right in the corner.
What the fuck was he talking about?
Like on The Office.
Yeah. I lost track. I'd zoned up for 20 minutes.
Goddamn screensaver in the background. It's mesmerizing.
But guys, also remember to go check out Sandu Stories on our free platform channel now. It came out all wherever podcasts come out, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, podcast apps, whatever you want to use.
Yep.
Sandu Stories is out there. The first episode has dropped. Please go listen to it, rate it, leave us a review if you can. But we will release that next one next Tuesday on
February
21st.
Yes. Also, if you are using a podcast app and you're like, Sandu Stories isn't on here, please shoot me an email at truecrimeguys, truecrimeguys@gmail or sandupodcast@gmail, either one. Let us know. Let us know what platform you're using, what app you're using, because not all apps are linked to major distributors like iTunes, for instance. Most of your small apps like Parcast or Podcast Addict, things like that, they are fed from the iTunes engine. So you will have the music there, but there are some smaller podcast apps that you have to submit to individually. So if you are on one of those apps, please let me know, and I will get the podcast on there. All right?
Sounds good to me.
I think
you did
that's
everything.
it.
I think you did a really good job, Michael.
Well, thanks. I think you did great too, man.
Yay, I'm going to go wash my mouth out.
Yeah. Maybe next time don't lick the deodorant, but other than that, I think you did great.
You got to give them what they want.
I don't know who wants that. All right, guys.
Didn't.
Well, we'll see you next week. Me and Andy will be back again for another Freeloader ep. All right. Until then, you guys keep creeping.
Be strange.
What? Be strange? That's for the other show.
Whatever. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to check out all the other shows on our TCG network, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel. Starting every Monday with new episodes of Strange and Unexplained, followed every other Tuesday by our audio drama podcast, Sandu Stories. Then, of course, new episodes of True Crime Guys every Wednesday. And if that's not enough, head on over to our Patreon, where you can have access to hundreds of hours of exclusive content, including older episodes, strange shorts, the latest edition of Sandu Stories, and, of course, higher thoughts. But until next time, guys, keep creeping.
You hush your mouth, boy.